Yes, people. Okay, so today we're going to take a look at a Birmingham City University article about how to grow your business on social media. So, 11 tips on building a social media presence. So, let's see how businesses, small, medium enterprises can benefit from social media. Okay, so looking at building on a social media presence for oneself or for a business, but where do you start? It can seem daunting building from the ground up. So let's take a look at 11 different ways of potentially building that social media presence. So, number one, you want to start with asking yourself a question: why am I on social media? Right? So it appears that everyone and their dog is on social media today. So you might be thinking, well, if everyone else is on it, then I should be too, which is a fair point. However, you should rely on basically think about and ask yourself, why am I here? What do I want to get out of this? So, obviously, if you're growing a business, you might be thinking, I want to be on social media so I can get more leads, more customers, sell more my product, build an email list, and so on. Setting yourself goals and targets like these and having a clear idea of the kind of content you want to share, basically is a great place to start. Think about the direction you want your platforms to grow. Set yourself smart targets and look at other kind of things like gathering content ready for posting, content ideas, starting off with testing different kinds of content as well. This will give you a purpose and basically stop you sharing content aimlessly. Okay, now, make sure you use the right platform. Think about the different platforms out there. Right now, we have so many platforms like Instagram, we have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have Pinterest, we have Reddit, we have all sorts of different kinds of platforms there on social media. Now, for example, if you're on LinkedIn, you'll find networks of other business professionals that you can contact, and if you're on Pinterest and you have something where you want to create visuals, that's a good platform for there. And other platforms like Twitter. So you'll see a variety of different platforms that one can join. And then basically from there, have a look at, your specific thing that you're doing. For example, if you're an artist, you want to create visuals, Pinterest might be something positive for your work because it has basically a full setup of visual kind of content that people upload onto and so on. Okay, so if you're a bit stuck as to where to start, then you can look at focusing on things like Facebook and Insta. Both these platforms are very widely used with millions of users, actually, over a billion monthly users on Facebook alone. So you have millions and millions of people that you can actually look into in terms of, the audience that could potentially become your customers or clients. Okay, so let your audience know you're on social media. So, any successful platform begins with a following, and it can be difficult to get one when you're starting from zero, from scratch. So, you've got to produce volume when it comes to content. While some platforms let you invite your own friends to like pages and so on, you should be letting your customers, people that you know, also, where they can find you, let them know about your social media, new handles, and new content, and so on. Including your social handles in email campaigns, for example, on print can be a good way. Now you can even get digital codes where people can scan a barcode and then go through to a specific page that you've connected it with. So there's loads of different ways now that people can connect with you online. You can easily link your social profiles to your website, or if you have a physical location like a shop or a festival or so on, you can always put up a follower sign, a social media type sign as well. Now, optimize your profiles. So look at basically optimizing things. So look at, for example, if you're on LinkedIn, you want to get things like your work history, your education history, a little bit about yourself in a bio, maybe a contact email, and so on. It's fully optimized. When someone lands, they know what you do, they know what you're about, they know a little bit about your history. So if they want to connect with you, they can easily connect with you. Obviously, it can be hard work, but once you do it, then at least people know that who you are and what you're all about. And being optimized is useful. So making sure your pages have all the right information filled in, like contact details, website, and so on. It's consistent in branding, that's important. For example, a half completed Facebook page with poor imagery isn't gonna look good for you, get traction, or be good for your brand. So it's important that anyone stumbling across your page instantly recognizes who you are and thinks these guys look professional and so on, and basically know what they're doing, and that gives them more enticement actually to contact you and potentially get a consultation of you or become a paying customer. Okay, so look at keeping an eye on algorithm and updates. So as we know, the algorithms dictate how the different social media platforms share or put eyeballs in front of your content. So for example, Facebook was the first to implement a wizard-like algorithm, seemingly reading your mind and deciding what content to show you. With most platforms now using some sort of algorithm, for harnessing the power of the algorithm can give you a presence, your presence, a huge boost. So Facebook gives priority to visually engaging content over less visual content, such as just plain text. So the mere act of adding a photo, basically to your status update, can entice people to connect, comment, like, and so on, interact. So that's why you see a lot more videos on Facebook these days on your news feeds and so on. So basically that is one way to connect with people. Same goes for sites like Twitter, who are more chronological. Knowing when your audience is most likely to see you tweet can be the difference between 10 retweets or maybe 100. Now, going on to number 6, create an editorial schedule. So create content and then schedule it. That can be useful. You do have scheduling tools on platforms like Facebook, for example, Pinterest, and so on these days. So now, before you think that this is not important, think about it. There's nothing more important to be successful social media presence than posting regularly, being consistent. And if you create, for example, a batch create content, you can then schedule it over. You can be daily or every week or whatever your posting schedule might be. Once you create batch content, you can then schedule it out across the different time periods that you require, and then that helps you plan ahead and meet your objectives. And by creating this kind of schedule and being regular and being consistent with the content, then it's much more likely to get you more interaction, more followers online. So creating a schedule means you can plan exactly what and when you want things to go out. So I do that myself regularly. So leaving you time basically allows you to have time, extra time to create content, and more importantly, get on with the actual running of the business. That's where you want to be, in the nitty gritty end of the business, working on how to increase your top end revenue and so on. Okay, keep it fresh. So try to be unique and personalize things to your audience. So look at the different statistics you have on the platforms. The platforms are the different, basically the platforms, for example, like Facebook or TikTok. They have the statistics of the content that you have already posted. So you can look at the statistics, look at the gender breakdown, look at what time people are visiting your page and so on, and then that will give you an idea of what kind of content people are looking for, and it allows you to target, keep your content up to date, keep it fresh. The audience likes seeing fresh content, which is exciting, quirky, catches their attention, that type of thing. Because you have to rise above the noise, because there's a lot of competition right now, especially on social media with millions of pages and millions of users and so on. So you've got to rise above the competitions. You've got to work out how you can get people to interact with your content. And that's quite important that you do that, because that's how you're going to build a profile, a brand. Okay. So don't push a hard sell. When you produce content, naturally, if it's good and people are engaging, they'll start to follow you. And over time, you can build trust, respect, and relationships. And this will help you, build that trust level with people. So once they've had multiple, connections across your different content and they've connected with your content, then they'll start to understand more about who you are. And as you're building a brand, they'll understand your brand as well. And that gives them much more likely a chance of them purchasing or becoming a future customer, and so on. Okay, jump on the bandwagon. So if you see trending hashtags, so you can jump on platforms like Google Trends, find out what's trending right now, and then produce content around trends. Obviously, sometimes trends are short lived, so you've got to be quick, really quick to the board to get there quickly to be able to upload content before competitors do. And then also interact with your audience. That's quite important. So, you know, social media is being social, so you got to talk to people. You might have a faceless profile, or you might have a profile with your own face on there on your social media, depending on how you're building a brand or personal brand, company brand. Both ways can be useful depending on how things are for you. Personal brands are picking up these days, and they're quite popular, but you can still have a faceless brand and still do well. Totally depends on the content, your followers, and how you interact with them. Interacting with your audience, asking them questions, doing polls, creating interactive videos will be useful in getting more engagement, and that will help build that trust over time. Learn from mistakes, look at other case studies, look at other content providers, other businesses, entrepreneurs, companies who have done campaigns. Check out case studies, check out news articles, other videos on YouTube, and then we basically pick up ideas, write down notes, and then from there you can actually learn from people's mistakes and then move towards getting more success for yourself. There you have it, people. So 11 tips on those who want to grow their businesses, through social media. So these are different ways you can potentially explore when it comes to building that social media presence and building your business. Do let us know in the comment section below. Have you actually tried any of these? And have you got any tips yourself? So drop a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.